Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Sam Talks Books. Today we are going to be doing perfect reads for spooky season. So if you see my last video, my October TBR, I had a few books that I want to read this month because I felt that they would be perfect. I'm not going to be including any of those books into this video, but I will share a link below of my previous video and my first video. So if you want to see those, you can go and check that out. When I was picking my books for my TBR, I realised that I had so many books that would have been perfect for this month, but obviously I cannot read all of them. It is impossible to read them all. I don't have some people who manage to read 20 books a month. I wish I could do that. So one of the first books on this list is In Hormone Life, which is a Cluedo style themed book. I actually heard about this book from MEGWITHBOOKS. She's the one who she was gifted this and she put it into one of her haul videos. So I'm going to link her channel below just because her videos are really awesome. I love Cluedo, it's one of my favourite board games, so I had to get this book. We follow a few students which are named after the popular characters Peacock, Plum, White. They're basically all trapped at school because there's big storms happening. Someone gets murdered. I think it's their head teacher. He gets murdered and the story just goes from there. It's a really fun murder mystery. I read this book and I did enjoy it. I think I gave it like a 3.5 stars, which there's nothing wrong with this book and I still recommend it. I think it's just I didn't connect personally to the characters. That could be because it's YA. I'm not sure, but I still recommend it. I'm actually still going to pick up the sequel for this one. Definitely would check this one out. It's so perfect for this time of year. It's spooky and you want to know what's going to happen. Next up on the list is The Silent Patient. I'm sure most of you, if you've bought BookTube for a while, have heard about this book numerous amount of times. It's where I discovered this book. We follow a character who is going to this hospital. He wants to try and help this patient, but everyone who's come close to this patient, weird things have started happening. But I think it's told in like his journal sort of thing, and I've been told that this book's really, really freaky. Some people said that they've not been able to sleep after reading this. Isn't that like that just screams spooky? I want to read this small little bit, I won't read all. I write this because, as of now, I am not sure if I am privy to a terrible secret, or if I myself am insane. This sounds really, really good, and I really can't wait to get to this at some point. I was going to read it during October, but I just ended up not fitting onto the list. But yeah, if you have read this one, let me know what you think. Next up on the list is The Nesting, and look how beautiful that cover is. It's so pretty. C. Jacobs covers are always so pretty. I actually, recently, my previous video was reading her second book, well it's not her second book, but her newest book, The Lighthouse Witches, which I finished, and that cover was also really pretty. So this book we follow our main character who has basically tried to commit suicide. Her boyfriend has dumped her and she's now homeless. She's on this train which also has a conversation about this job going as a living nanny in this house that's in the middle of nowhere in Norway or somewhere. I think it's Norway. This girl in front of her does not want the job. Oh my god, does not want the job, so she decides to steal her identity and become her and take the job. She ends up going and becoming this nanny in this really spooky house, and all the spooky stuff starts happening and it's really creepy. It made me kind of afraid of Alk. Like there's some really freaky scenes with Alk and it really creeped me out. But I will read this back bit because it's really small. It was like something out of a fairy tale. The grieving widower, two motherless daughters, a beautiful house in the Norwegian woods, but there is a darkness creeping in from the outside. If I hadn't read this book, I definitely would have read it during this month. Highly, highly recommend this book. I really enjoyed it when I read it. Next up on the list is The Dead in the Dark. This book follows a character who moves to this new neighbourhood with her dad, and all this weird stuff starts happening. Our old ghost adventure team have come here to do investigations, and but I'm not too sure that she teams up with this character, I think, called Logan, and they begin investigating. They don't realise that they're about to unravel some truth about the families, the neighbourhood, the town, and even themselves that could change everything. This book deals with hauntings, maybe, and the possibility of like the ghosts and stuff like that, and a lot of secrets I can get told. So I feel like this is an awesome spooky read. Another one on my list is The Last Thing He Told Me. This is about a guy who disappears, but he leaves a letter to his wife to take care of his daughter. I don't know too much about this one other than it's a thriller, and thrillers are always perfect for autumn and October time. This one would be really interesting. It's got We All Have Stories We Never Have. It sounds really good. I've heard mixed reviews. Some people seem to not really like this and said it's disappointing, but then I've seen a couple reviews that said this is really, really good. So who knows? I think it'd be perfect for this time of year. Another book on my list is one that I've read and it was a favourite from September, which if you see my September wrap up, you already know what this is, and that is In My Dreams I Heard a Knife. This is the perfect read for autumn, spooky season. I'm not going to say anything about it. I think I spoke about it in my September wrap up, and I'm going to be doing a more in-depth review about this book at some point in the future, but this is perfect for this time of year. It's a lot of fun, it's creepy, and there's a lot of twists in this book. Next up we have Dog Rose Dirt. This one sounds awesome. I haven't read this one yet as well, but I really want to get to it at some point, maybe next month, but this sounds really good. So I'm going to read off the back as it's really small. It says, a convicted murderer with a story to tell, a grieving daughter with a secret to unearth, a hunt for a killer ready to strike again. It sounds so good. Like, just that little bit sounds so good. It's one book that I'm so excited to get to. Unfortunately, I haven't got to it yet, and I'm probably not going to get to it this month, sometime in the future. Next up is The Devil and the Dark Water. This is, I think, a murder mystery set aboard of a boat. I think people get murdered on this boat, or someone gets murdered. I've heard some people compare it to Murder on the Orient Express, and I've heard different sort of reviews, positive, some negative, but mainly good reviews regarding this book. For us, I don't really know much about it apart from it's set in 1634, and we follow, I think, a numerous amount of characters. So yeah, murder mystery. That's fun. Another on the list is Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, and just that title right there screams Halloween. So I'm going to read from the back. I don't actually remember too much what this is about, other than vampires and slaying, so I'm going to read from the back. Patricia Campbell's life has never felt smaller. Her husband is a workaholic, her teenage kids have their own lives, her senile mother-in-law needs constant care, and she's always a step behind on her endless to-do list. The only thing keeping her sane is her book club, a close-knit group of Charleston women united by their love of true crime. At these meetings, they're as likely to talk about the Manson families as they are about their own families. One evening after book club, Patricia is viciously attacked by an elderly neighbour, bringing the neighbourhood handsome nephew James Harris into her life. James is well-travelled and well-read, and he makes Patricia feel things she hasn't felt in years. But when children on the other side of town go missing, their deaths written off by the local police, Patricia has reason to believe James Harris is more of a Bundy than a Brad Pitt. The real problem, James is a monster of a different kind, and Patricia has already invited him in. Little by little, James will initiate himself into Patricia's life and try to take everything she took for granted, including the book club, but she won't surrender without a fight in this blood-soaked tale of neighbourly kindness gone wrong. That was a struggle. That sounds really cool. So I'm guessing he's like a vampire and he's got something to do with it, and maybe the old guy related to him. That's just a guess. I don't know, but this is a loved book. So next up is a book called Shiva. I've never heard about this book before. I got it on a trip to London and I just saw the cover and read the first bit. I was like, that sounds awesome. It basically says, they don't know what I did and I intend to keep it that way. It sounds awesome. This is like, I think, another thriller type book. Okay, so I'll read a little bit here. The truth is, I'm terrified of it. Terrified of who it makes me become and what other life I might destroy. The moment I fasten into my buildings, nothing else matters. When Miller is invited to a reunion in the French Alps that saw the peak of her snowboarding career, she drops everything to go. While she would rather forget the events of that winter, the invitation comes from Curtis, the one person she can't seem to let go. The five friends haven't seen each other for 10 years since the disappearance of the beautiful skier. I think I'm saying that right. But when an icebreaker game turns menacing, they realise they don't know who has really gathered them there and how far they will go to find the truth. In a deserted lodge high up in the mountain, the secrets of the past are about to come to light. I really want to get this book soon. It's probably like high on my TBR than a lot of books, but it sounds so good. Next up on my list is A Narrow Door. First of all, I'm going to just show you how pretty that is. And then look. This is so pretty. I love stencils and sprayed edges. So I'm just going to read this little bit here and then snippets of it. Now I'm in charge and the gates are my gates. The rules are my rules. A body is discovered. Rebecca is here to make her mark. She buried the past so deep it will evade even her own memory, just like she has done before. After all, you can't keep a good woman down. I remember like when I first heard about this book, I was iffy if I should get it or not, and then I started seeing reviews about it and they're really positive. Sounds really spooky and like there's a lot of secrets and stuff gonna happen in it, so I think it is perfect for like Halloween month. Next up is Kingdom of the Wicked. I read this one a couple months ago and it's so spooky. It's written so well, and I remember reading it thinking, damn, I should have left this for October, it would have been perfect. We follow this character, Emilia, and her twin sister is brutally murdered and she wants to solve who did this. So she teams up with the Wicked, who her family have told her to not trust, not to communicate with, but she needs help to solve her sister's murder. I'm going to read again off the back just because it's really short. Whatever you do, you must never speak to the wicked. If you see them, hide. Once you've got a demon prince's attention, he'll stop at nothing to claim you. They are midnight creatures, born of darkness and moonlight, and they seek only to destroy. This book sounds so good. I really enjoyed reading it. Like, oh my god, I can't wait to read the sequel, which brings me on to the next book. I literally went and got this one today. It released today, which is the 5th of October. Yeah, it's the 5th of October, which is the sequel. Look how pretty it is, and oh my god, it's got sprayed edges. Oh my god, I'm so excited. This one is on my TBR for this month, so I am going to be reading this month. So excited for it. So yeah, that's Kingdom of the Curse, and it's a sequel to Kingdom of the Wicked. Can't wait. I'm going to read the back. In the 7 circles, there are only 3 rules. First, don't ever reveal your true fears. Second, control your desires. Third, never make a bargain involving the devil. I am so excited. So if you have read the first one and you thought like me that it would be perfect for spooky season, I mean, you got the sequel out ready for this month, so yeah. So that is the last book on this list, and there are so many more books that would be perfect for this time, but I think I'd be here all day. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you get alerted when I got new videos. So for now, bye.